We have got to make it clear that when the future of the planet is at stake, there is no middle ground.
All right, so Bernie Sanders showed up to the California Democratic Party convention to give a speech. Now, this speech was largely focused on how to defeat Donald Trump, or I should say the best way to defeat Donald Trump. And while doing so, Bernie appeared to take some shots at Joe Biden. Now, while you're watching this video, also keep in mind that Biden did not show up to this event. Watch.
All of us are united in defeating Trump, but let me be frank with you and raise the issue that I think is on everyone's mind. And that is, what is the best way to defeat Trump? As you all know, there is a debate among presidential candidates who have spoken to you here in this room and those who have chosen, for whatever reason, not to be in this room. We have got to make it clear that when the future of the planet is at stake, there is no middle ground. We will take on the fossil fuel industry and transform our energy system. We have got to make it clear that when this country drifts toward oligarchy, there is no middle ground. Large, profitable corporations like Amazon will pay their fair share of taxes. When it comes to health care, there is no middle ground. Health care is a human right, not a privilege. And we will guarantee health care to all of our people through a Medicare for all single-payer system.
All right, so a big reaction there from the crowd to Bernie's speech. He went on in the speech to talk about no middle ground on practically every other issue. So I'll link to the full speech below the video if you want to watch Bernie's entire speech. But there was an obvious reference to Joe Biden here, the middle ground aspect of this. So Biden's campaign is looking for middle ground on issues including climate policy. So this is according to Biden's own campaign. So Biden's campaign is saying they're looking for middle ground because, you know, that wasn't already tried in 2016 and completely failed in the face of Donald Trump. I mean, if what you care about is defeating Donald Trump, Joe Biden is the worst candidate you could possibly vote for. This is somebody that is Hillary 2.0. In fact, Biden is worse on these issues than Hillary Clinton is. So this idea that you're going to appeal to conservative voters, how many times does it have to be showed to be a complete failure of strategy? Conservative voters come out every election and they vote for the Republican. What Democrats have to do is actually excite their base, and you do that with a bold message, with a new message, and a message that actually speaks to what the American people want. So when you look at polling on any of these issues, on Medicare for all, the vast majority of Americans support it. When it comes to a climate change policy, the vast majority of Americans want to do something about climate change. When it comes to raising taxes on the wealthiest and large corporations, the vast majority of Americans support that. So this is how you reach out to people who don't normally vote. You actually run on something that they have not seen in a candidate before, and someone that has a track record of doing so and a strategy to do it through this political revolution where you get people up out of their couches and out protesting and pushing their various senators or congresspeople on these issues. So Bernie talked about this actually in a recent interview with the Young Turks, where he talked about his strategy to get this done. No other candidate has this kind of strategy. They can all have similar positions. Like Elizabeth Warren has a lot of similar positions that Bernie does, except for foreign policy. But again, this is one of the many reasons why I think Bernie's a better choice over Elizabeth Warren. Foreign policy is one of those reasons. But really the main reason is that Bernie actually has a strategy and an approach that other candidates are not taking. And that approach is actually exciting a base of Americans to become active, become political, and actually push the various politicians in their area to support these various issues. So the interview that Bernie had with TYT, he mentioned how as president, Bernie would go to West Virginia, as one example, to try and influence the senator there, try and influence Joe Manchin, who he knows would not support a Medicare for all bill. But if he's there in his state, getting Manchin's voters active in that state, supporting Medicare for all, then they're going to be under some more political pressure than they're used to. Now, I also want to just share this from Common Dreams. So the No Middle Ground hashtag became viral on Twitter. So the tweets from Sanders backers and others quickly made No Middle Ground a trending Twitter topic in the U.S. Sanders' remarks demanding an unabashedly bold progressive agenda were also applauded at the California Democratic Party convention in San Francisco, where the Vermont senator received a standing ovation, while calls for moderation by Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper and former Representative John Delaney were panned by many in the crowd. And I'm going to have a video on that, a separate video on that as well, because those... It's funny to see centrists on stage saying something that they think that they're told is a popular position to be moderate. They're told by all the mainstream press whenever they're on a show like Morning Joe, oh, moderation is key. Yet they go in front of a bunch of voters and say that and get booed. It's a wake-up call for these candidates that have absolutely no idea what voters actually want. Now, California here. So it's important to keep in mind that California is going to be a more important primary state this time around than it was last time. So the Golden State primary, which is open to independents, is due to take place on Super Tuesday, March 3rd. The early timing of the contest gives the state greater influence over the Democratic primary than it had in 2016, when its voting was held in June. So because California is an early voting state and it's also open to independents, there is a massive potential here for whoever is able to win that state. And right now it appears that Biden and Bernie are up ahead of everybody else. But however that plays out, whoever wins that state, it's going to be a massive boon to that candidate. And just based on the California voters who were at this convention, Bernie got the most excitement. He got the most applause. And it's because, again, he is presenting something that very few, or that really no other candidates in this race are offering.